Crane's Cleveland business is featuring a periodic series of profiles of behind-the-scenes people who are key to the success of food-related businesses in Northeast Ohio. Our latest feature is on Andy Tveekrem, brewmaster of the Market Garden Brewery in Ohio City. Mr. Tveekrem is behind the award-winning craft beer for Sam McNulty's Brew Pubs and has played a key role in the growth of the operation. I bet you're also wondering how much beer Andy consumes in a week. Tune in to find out.
Just really fell in love with the idea of beer making. So I was making beer in my basement just to have beer. It was a hobby. It was born of necessity because I didn't have any money, but it was also born of really just a deep fascination with beer and kind of learning more and more about it as I went. Inspiration can come from any variety of sources. Some of the beers that we do here are just, continuations of homebrew recipes that I did 25 years ago. Others are just, kind of classic styles that are fun to brew because they're classics. If you can make a really good Pilsner or a Vienna lager or a Scotch ale or a pale ale, I think that's just awesome. Beer starts with water. So we use good old Cleveland City water, which comes from Lake Erie. All we have to do is remove the chlorine, which is pretty easy to do. And then it's really good brewing water. The mineral profile is quite nice, which I like. When we actually get ready to make beer, we have barley malt. So this is a sample of some pale malt. And for comparison, here's some really dark roasted malt. These grains are what give beer all of its body, all of its fermentable sugars. These are hops. And hops are these flowering buds that grow on vines. Kind of depending on the variety, they can be spicy, they can be citrusy, they can be woodsy, earthy. They're very fragrant. Hops are a key ingredient in beer because they provide bitterness that will balance out all the sweetness from the malt. Fermentation, converting all those sugars in the wort into CO2 and alcohol, that's really when you start making beer. Up to now, we just made wort. That's just the unfermented beer. It's the yeast that has to do the real work, the heavy lifting of brewing. And the type of yeast that you use has a really big flavor impact. You like a wheat beer, that's a specific yeast that creates those flavors that you like, those banana esters, the kind of the clovey phenols. As a brewer, my typical week would be, doing some brewing and also, scheduling and coordinating shipments of grain and malts, making sure we have everything that we need. But also as a manager of a growing brewery, that tends to take me out of the brew house a bit. So, for example, right now we're planning a brewery expansion. We have this building across the parking lot. And tomorrow I will be sitting in the snow and sleet unloading a bottling line that we just bought. I see it in a lot of areas, and it's happening here too, is that things are just being driven more and more to the local level. And people are really interested in what's going on locally. So you've got a pretty good number now of regional craft brewers that are, or even national, they got a big chunk of real estate and they're supplying that. But there's a lot of room for, I think, smaller companies that are focused more tightly on their own core market and really just kind of seeing how far that can go.
So how much beer do you drink in a week?
Oh, in a week? God, it's usually in a day. I drink a couple beers a day. The question is, what's the size of the glass? I think fermentation equals civilization. Without one, you can't have the other.